What's up, YouTube? So WTF1 recently let out a video about the teammate battles in 2019, letting out a lot of predictions, so I wanted to make a bunch of predictions of my own, starting with, of course, the current Constructors Champions, Mercedes. And it's now 2019 make or break for Valtteri Bottas. With Esteban Ocon waiting on the sidelines, it's obvious that he has to match Lewis Hamilton, which is unlikely he will be allowed to do. Even Toto Wolff says that Bottas needs to match Lewis, which, let's be honest, he can't do. I mean, we all remember Valtteri, it's James.
Valtteri, it's James.
Oi perkele!
And my prediction is that Bottas will be ruined spectacularly and get the Vettel out of Formula 1 as he's replaced by Esteban Ocon for 2020. This is the end of the road for Valtteri Bottas. Next one is Ferrari. And Ferrari have a new driver, Leclerc, who carries the lost legacy of Jules Bianchi, which may or may not be the main reason why he was promoted to Ferrari so quickly. Sebastian Vettel had a pretty unflattering second half of 2018 because of, well, becoming the laughingstock of the top teams, let's just say. Mattia Binotto has been introduced as the new team principal after Maurizio Arrivabene became Maurizio Arrivederci. He was expelled from the team as a scapegoat for the bunch of problems of 2018. And I predict that Leclerc will defy expectations, beat Vettel in an embarrassing fashion, and will remain at Ferrari for the long run, as Seb will be deservingly expelled. And Leclerc will be the first ever Monegasque to win an F1 race, and in fact the first Monegasque since Louis Chiron, who never won a race. Red Bull, of course, you have Gasly as a newcomer, and he will be now alongside the Flying Dutchman, Max Verstappen. Toro Rosso already has the Kvyat boost charged to unleash it at any moment. And of course you have the fact that Gasly has a pre-podium from Bahrain, and it's very likely he will get a right-out podium, a podium proper in 2019 now that he has the car to do it. My prediction is that because of the Kvyat boost, Verstappen will beat Gasly, leave him in the dust, taking away Vettel's record for the youngest ever world champion. Yes, I dislike Vettel. And Gasly will be the first Frenchman to win a race since Olivier Panis, who nixed the 1996 Monaco Grand Prix, in which more than half the field retired. Next one is Renault. Renault, that's how you pronounce it in French. And you have Daniel Ricciardo recently arrived, and Nico Hülkenberg, who has the longest ever F1 career without any podiums. And Daniel Ricciardo is his most challenging teammate that he has ever had. So the challenge isn't going to be easy. As Matthew said, Nico has nowhere to hide from Daniel Ricciardo. And Renault has a huge motivation to squash Red Bull from scapegoating the engine. So, well, first off, I don't think Renault will be able to match Red Bull because Adrian Newey has proven to be an amazing engineer. And Nico Hülkenberg may be narrowly beaten by Daniel Ricciardo. Maybe, probably, who knows. And yeah, next team is Haas, which for some reason retained the lineup for this year. And Romain Grosjean has of course acquired a reputation for being an absolute madman, a complete putain de bordel de merde. And his teammate Kevin Magnussen has a lot of consistency. It may be Grosjean's last chance to be anything other than a complete idiot as he was last 2 seasons. And my prediction is that Grosjean will be expelled and will have to walk out of F1 for good, much like Pastor Maldonado, while Kevin Magnussen beats him to dust. Now for the next team, Force India or Racing Point or whatever the team is going to be called, you have a newcomer called Lance Stroll, of whom I recently made a video about. He has a stigma of a pay driver, but people may be forgetting his podium in Baku in 2017 and 2 World Championships in smaller categories, the biggest of which is 2016 Formula 3. He will be racing alongside Checo Perez, who is no small thing. He has a big challenge ahead. And while Checo has a history of being a bit of an idiot sometimes,
Guys, what the honestly, what the is this guy doing? Something broken now. Idiot.
he is still a force to be reckoned with. And the 2016 Formula 3 World Champion Lance Stroll will still find him difficult to match. My prediction is that Checo will have a close battle and Stroll will at least win a few Formula 1.5 races, but I will predict Checo as the upper hand just for reasons of patriotism.
Es un sol con penacho y zarape veteado que en las noches se viste de charro y se pone a cantarle al amor. Baila el son del tequila y de su...
And that Racing Point will win the Formula 1.5 Constructors Championship and snatch the 1-2 on the Drivers Championship. Maybe Stroll ahead, maybe Perez ahead, but those two will be at the top of Formula 1.5. Now for McLaren. It is a very familiar scenario for anyone who remembers how Hamilton entered into the Formula 1 scene, and Carlos Sainz has moved team for the 3rd time in as many years. Lando Norris has already settled for McLaren last year in Spa, for example, where he asked for gap to Van Dorn and Van Dorn hard retired, so no gap. I predict that Lando Norris will have a slight upper hand over Sainz, who will end the season by changing teams again, opening the space for the Dutch hot guy Nick de Vries, spelled with a Y. Next team is Sauber, who has a newcomer, kind of, Kimi Räikkönen, who for some reason decided to restart career mode after the Italian Grand Prix when he learned that he was going to be expelled from Ferrari. Antonio Giovinazzi already had a stint in 2017 at Sauber, including a pretty bad crash in China. Kimi has a lot of experience, and I don't see him being a challenge for Antonio Giovinazzi, but again, he may not be as bad as to ruin Giovinazzi's career like Alonso ruined Van Dorn. But let's see what happens. As for Toro Rosso, you have Alexander Albon and for some reason Daniil Kvyat, which is one of the reasons I pinpoint Max Verstappen as world champion. British tie rookie Alexander Albon with Daniil Kvyat, who we already know is a complete suka vliat.
Сука, блядь!
Daniil has been given a complete roller coaster ride by Red Bull, and well, I don't even know why he even accepted a drive at Toro Rosso.
Hey Danny, do you fancy coming back for a season? I'd be like, no, you can go yourself.
And Albon will be the first Thai driver in Formula 1 since Siamese Prince raced in the 1950s, although never got any podium. And while Kvyat is pretty much only there as a charge for the Kvyat boost to give Verstappen a win, I predict that the one who will replace him in the middle of the season will be Brendan Hartley, as to wait for Dan Ticktum to step into Toro Rosso in 2020. And Max Verstappen will obtain his 4th Kvyat boosted win, and Kvyat will be expelled for Formula 1, hopefully forever for good. I don't want to see Kvyat again in Formula 1. Never, 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 never. And finally, the laughing stock of the paddock this year, Williams, who for some reason are hiring George Russell to race alongside Lord Curva, Robert Kubica.
Oh, curva!
Kubica is unable to properly move his left hand due to a crash he had in rallies in 2011. And Williams come from being laughing stock of the paddock, and 2 of the biggest sponsors have left them in the absolute dust. We're of course talking about Martini and Mr. Lawrence Stroll. And I predict that Williams will absolutely destroy George Russell's early career, as he will be unable to do absolutely anything in that Williams car, and Kubica will throw a curva and walk out of Formula 1 for good. And finally, this is my lineup prediction for 2020. I hope you'll enjoy.